Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for getting my second chakra all ready for this. When I was 16 years old, I got into an abusive relationship. It's something that today I do not regret one bit. I would do it all over again, just so that I could be here standing in front of all of you and share my story with you. It really changed me as a person in so many ways, and I'm just blessed to be humbled by that kind of experience. So I'm just going to go ahead and just tell you a little bit about myself, tell you a little bit about my relationship. He worshiped the ground that I walked on. He literally kissed my feet. He carried me to the next room, and when I asked, he simply replied, "My queen." He insisted that we always match our clothes and that we always close our eyes before we kiss. And as I reminisce, I recall the day that he said this. He said that he regretted the first 17 years of his life because he lived them without me. He said that he loved me more than anything. He said that he couldn't imagine living a day in the rest of his life without me. Without me. Without me. Without me, he never would have gone from failing all of his classes to getting straight A's and B's because I stayed on his ass and I would not accept anything less. Without me, he would have never rehabilitated from his heroin addiction years after all of the things that he did to me. Without me, he would have killed his baby mama, but I stopped him. Without me, he would have never acknowledged that he was following in the footsteps of his dead father. Without me, he would have never remembered the times that he tried to protect his own abused mama. Without me, there wouldn't have been a team. I mean, without me, he would have never been able to hurt me. But I stayed. I stayed. And I stayed because I was afraid. I stayed because it was already ingrained into my brain that without him, I would never be the same. I stayed because we had come so far and had already invested so much that the thought of giving up literally made me sick to my stomach. I stayed because I lost my virginity to him. Among other things, like my innocence. I stayed because I didn't understand religion. And I thought that this meant that without him, I would never be worthy of love again. I stayed because I had to be this strong black woman raising my fist in independence. I stayed because we were so perfect. That's what they said. So perfect. You guys are so cute. And I dreaded the day that I would have to explain why we just weren't worth it. I stayed because I was afraid for my life. I stayed because I remembered the day that he knocked some sense into me. When he banged my head into the brick wall repeatedly after I tried to hide from him in an alley. I stayed because I tried to get away. I mean, I really tried to get away. I tried. I tried to run, and those were the coldest memories. I remember running out of breath, my legs dead, and I was freezing. Because while chasing me, he grabbed my sleeve, and before he could even think, I took my entire jacket off and ran again. I tried talking to him, when things were good. When he was buying me things, surprising me, paying attention to all of the little things. I tried asking his mom for help, but she just made excuses and told us to work it out. I tried writing him letters, begging him to let me leave, trying to explain why we just shouldn't be. I tried breaking up with him. And to this he said no. And when I left him no choice, he just wouldn't leave me alone. I tried to fight back. I tried to just die. I tried to scream so that someone somewhere could hear me. I tried to hold it all inside. I tried to change the fate of my demise. I tried. But it wasn't until we were literally stripped apart that I could finally breathe. And by then, I was so confused and so conflicted that I just cried for weeks. I missed him. I missed the good times. I got distracted, and I almost went back. I still called him and promised him my heart. Told him that one day we would be married and never have to be apart. But I knew that if he killed me, I would never found the real me. Thank you.